So this video is going to talk about emotion-focused therapy, which is a main technique I use all the time. We're going to talk about exactly what it is, who it works for, and kind of what it looks like on the ground. So emotion-focused therapy, short form, simple, emotional intelligence. Okay? So emotional, it gets us into our body because your feelings are in your body. So if you tell me that you feel angry, anger feels the same for all of us in our body when it's flowing and open, okay? So it's a language that we can learn to speak, okay? So we get you into your body and we also get you talking about it. So it's this beautiful integration of the heart and the head, okay? And honestly, I think it's for everybody and I think it treats everything, okay? So I think we could all use to be more comfortable with feelings, especially intense ones. They make life rich. They bring us joy, they bring us good things. They help us process loss. Do you want down, buddy? They help us process loss. They tell us when people are important to us. They tell us when people have violated our boundaries. And only by connecting to your feelings do you find those things out. So I think emotion-focused therapy works beautifully for everybody, especially if you're the kind of person saying, I'm more comfortable living up here. I'm more comfortable in my head. I'm more comfortable with the logic, with the intellect. That's exactly when connecting with feelings, I believe, will really transform your life. What cognitive behavioral, and I have used cognitive behavioral techniques at times for sure, what it does is help us figure out what the problematic thoughts are that fuel our anxiety and depression. So for example, I'm not good enough, very common one. Okay, and kind of figuring out how to redirect it and reframe it. That's kind of what cognitive behavioral does. What emotion focus does is figure out what the feeling is that's fueling it. Okay, and that feeling is often on fire, and it's on fire because it's triggering something from your past, from your family. And as we listen to the engine, because the engine is on, it's revving, it's on too loud, the engine goes down. And it gives us the potential, the opportunity to start being more flexible and making different choices. So I think they work really beautifully together. Lots of people come to see me who have had CBT and feel that it was very helpful to a point, and now they want to go deeper, is often what I hear. And I think in many ways it's a preference too, but I think there are so many benefits to both. So if somebody comes to me and brings a tough issue, like they're triggered about something, let's say their boss was very toxic and got angry with them last week. What we begin is, I want the client to describe it, but what I do is I slow it right down. I want you to describe it with space, because the intellect, our thoughts are fast. The emotional center is slow. It needs space to figure out what's going on. So if I just slow down your talking, you're going to find that you start accessing and things come to the surface. So that's my first step. Then we're probably going to go into your body. What do you feel in your body as you tell me that? Does it feel tight here? Does it feel tight up here? So we're going to do somatic stuff. And then we're going to pick it apart. It's sometimes called mindfulness questioning. So I'm going to ask you tons of questions, and we're going to explore something more than you've ever explored it. And what I'm looking for is where the intensity is. We're going to go there. We're going to keep processing it using talking, mindfulness questioning, nonverbal techniques. And then when we're done, two things. It's going to turn the engine down on the feeling so that you can figure out a different way to be with your boss. And then it'll also lower your central nervous system so we can talk about how to show up differently in your relationship with your boss. So there's a practical piece, but we start with EFT so that we can get there with our mind open and ready to go. So if some of the defenses you've developed are numbing or thinking through your feelings, emotion focused is going to be brilliant, okay? It's also great for anxiety. And the reason for that is because anxiety is one of those things that your body's telling you there's something wrong, and we're going to figure out what that is. And we do that using emotion-focused techniques because your body is going to tell you what's wrong, and we're going to process it. But it's when we say a different approach you definitely want to bring in is anxiety. And it's because if somebody has health anxiety, for example, sometimes going into that thought is completely detrimental. It only puts you deeper in a hole. It doesn't help you. So what I'm trying to do is calibrate. So sometimes we're trying to distract you and get you out of it. And I'm not going to use EFT in those moments. I'm going to use CBT or some other technique. So if you find yourself feeling, oh, the idea, I don't like feelings, I don't like going there, I like living in the intellect, I like logically going through my feelings. That's fine if it works for you, but I find that people sometimes find it limiting. And if you find there's limitations in it, getting in touch with your feelings is absolutely, that's why it's so essential to do emotion-focused therapy, because it opens up a different way of being in the world. The thing about being an intellectual or a feeler is they're both good. Neither is good or bad. It's about finding the balance. And what you really want in life is 50-50, so that we can take in the information through the head and the heart. That's what healing and regulation looks like. That's who comes to see me the most. I think that people who find my approach, it's very nonverbal, it's definitely unique, it's fun. I work with spirituality, I work with other somatic techniques, and of course emotion-focused therapy. When people come to see me, I think the number one reason they do is, especially if people are really smart, they'll say, I love CBT, it's helpful, but I can figure a lot of that out on my own. I can distract myself, I can redirect, I can reframe on my own. I need somebody to be with me to go deeper, and that's where I come in. And we're gonna go deeper. We're gonna talk about feelings, we're gonna talk about the past, always to inform the present and with a purpose. And I think you're gonna find that it gets you to your goal. It takes longer, but it transforms, and that's what I love about it. I hope you learned a lot about emotion-focused therapy today. It's one of my favorite techniques. I use lots of techniques, but it's a big favorite for me. And I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna tell you a personal story at the end of this. I hope that's okay. I went through my own therapy when I was training to be a therapist. We all have to do that. And I went through therapy for 5 years. And I would have said that I was an intellectual person. And I was planning to do CBT as a therapist. And as I did my own work, the reason I decided to become an emotion-focused therapist is it transformed my own life. It transformed how I show up, the kind of therapist I am, the kind of person I am in the world. And I want to see that happen for you too. There's huge benefits.
I love that. Okay.